Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. The topic which we would be covering today is lasers in orthodontics. Okay, talking about lasers is like talking about something which is very huge because lasers have found their way in the field of dentistry. Okay, and they are being used almost everywhere now. But what we would be talking is purely the use of lasers in orthodontics. Okay, so before we start with this topic, let me tell you that lasers is very important topic. You can get MCQs from lasers. Plus, if you are an orthodontic resident, you know how important laser is because you can be asked a full length question based on this. Okay, and it is very often asked in vivas as well. So yes, let us start with lasers in orthodontics. First of all, laser is an acronym, okay, and the full form of laser is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Very important for your MCQs as well. Full form of laser, they'll give you 4 random options. You should be knowing the full form. It is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Okay. Now, to begin with, see, lasers is huge. It is like never-ending topic. So we'll be covering purely basics of lasers and only those topics which are of primary importance. Okay, let us not dwell into the depth of each and every small thing. You should know each and everything superficially for sure. Okay, so that you have an idea about each and everything. So that is exactly what we would be doing. If you are an ortho resident, you know that lasers is very well given in Graeber, Venestalvik. So just go back to that book and refer to lasers in depth. And if you're a NEET and MDS aspirant, you know that whatever I'll be teaching you should be enough for your entrance examinations. Okay, so coming back to types of lasers, we have argon lasers. Argon lasers found its way pretty long back. So argon lasers, they are used for gingival surgeries and for caries detection. Then we came across carbon dioxide lasers, which were also used for soft tissue surgery. Okay, but then carbon dioxide lasers had the disadvantage, or there was a shortcoming, that they were of very large size and they were expensive. Now, laser is one thing, which you wish to carry from clinic to clinic if you are a consultant. So if you have a laser which is so huge, expensive, and difficult to carry, then it becomes very difficult to take from one place to another. So it has to be very portable. And if it is expensive, you always have to think, what if it breaks or if I lose it or anything, right? So based on all these shortcomings, there were newer advances which are coming up. Okay, and therefore we have so many types of lasers. First, suppose one kind of laser is introduced, and then we realize, okay, this laser has all these disadvantages and these shortcomings are there. So based on that, we have come across new kind of lasers. The next laser which we have is diode laser. Diode lasers are used for gingival recontouring, crown lengthening procedures. What is crown lengthening? If my length of the crown is less as compared to the mesiodistal width, and if it is not following all the proportions properly, then we reduce a part of gingival area so that my crown can be lengthened. Okay, then removal of hypertrophic tissue, frenectomies close to enamel, dentin and cement. Okay. The next type of laser which we have is neodymium doped yttrium aluminium garnet, NDYAG. Okay, this is used for circular debridement and vaporization of carious surface lesions. The next laser which we have is erbium doped yttrium aluminium garnet. Okay, so this is your neodymium laser. This is your lasers. They are hard tissue laser. This is a hard tissue laser, and because it is used for hard tissue removal. So if you see, the lasers which we had earlier were all soft tissue lasers. Okay, and with the introduction of erbium lasers, it proved to be revolutionary because it was a hard tissue laser. Okay, so just for your knowledge, the most commonly used lasers are neodymium and erbium doped lasers. Okay, so there are 5 types of lasers which you should know: argon, carbon dioxide, diode, and of course neodymium and erbium, and these two are most commonly used lasers. Okay, now coming to the effect of laser on tissues. Okay, when a laser light is given onto the tooth surface, whether it is hard tissue or soft tissue, there is bound to be some effect. Okay, laser is bound to have some effect on the tissues. So there are 4 kinds of effects which can occur. So to help you people remember, just remember the mnemonic STAR. Okay, so STAR is the mnemonic for the effect of laser in effect of laser on the tissues. S stands for scattering, T stands for transmission, A is absorption, and R is reflection. Now let us see the meaning of each effect. First, to start with, first effect of laser on the tissue can be absorption. Okay, so what happened when tissue light, when the laser is shown onto the tissues, it gets absorbed. So that is what is absorption. Next is the phenomenon of scattering. What happens is scattering when a laser light is pointed onto the tooth surface. It does not get concentrated into that particular area. Rather, it gets scattered, affecting the nearby areas as well. Okay, suppose if you are pointing out your laser on the gingival middle third of central incisor and it is not getting concentrated in that area, rather it is getting scattered to central incisor of nearby central, lateral canine, lips, enamel. So that is what is known as scattering. It does not get concentrated at one area, rather it gets scattered to the nearby areas. Okay, next phenomenon that can occur is your transmission. What is transmission? In the procedure of transmission, when I am pointing my laser light onto the tooth surface, it affects the surface as well as it penetrates a little deeper inside. Therefore, this particular thing which you see, okay, it is coming onto the tooth surface, affecting the surface, going deeper into the tissues and then moving out. Okay, so transmission means it gets involved, it involves the surface plus the deeper tissues also. Okay, the next effect of laser on the tissue is reflection. So what is happening? What is happening? I am pointing my laser light onto the tissue and it is getting reflected. There is absolutely no effect happening onto the surface. Okay, so these are the effect of lasers on tissue. You have to remember it by the mnemonic STAR. So it is scattering, transmission, absorption, and reflection. So now you know in absorption, the laser light is getting absorbed. In scattering, it is getting scattered to nearby area. In transmission, it gets absorbed by the tissues. In reflection, it is getting reflected away. Okay, so these are the effect of lasers on tissues. Moving on, what happens when my laser light gets absorbed? Okay, so when there is scattering, transmission, if it is getting scattered, transmission, or if there is reflection, there is no effect of laser onto the tissue. Effect of laser can only be appreciated in case it gets absorbed. Okay, so absorption is the main effect of laser which should occur onto the tissue. So once my laser light gets absorbed, what happens? Okay, so what is the effect after absorption? Let us see. See, when we are giving a laser light, there is basically some amount of heat which is being generated and we are pointing that onto the tissue surface. So if my heat generation or my laser is between 60 to 100 degrees Celsius, what will happen is denaturation of proteins. The proteins which are present in the tooth surface or on the soft tissues, they get denatured. That is the very first effect. Now, if my temperature rises above 100 or when it is at 100 degree, first let us discuss if it is in the range of 60 to 100, at 100 and beyond 100. Between 60 to 100 degrees, there is denaturation of proteins. At 100 degree, what happens? There is vaporization of water within the tissues. Okay, the water which is present within the tissues vaporizes. And what happens? The procedure of ablation occurs. Okay, MCQ question for you. The procedure which, tell me the name of the process which occurs when the tissue absorbs a laser at 100 degrees. What is happening? Whether it is denaturation of protein, ablation, carbonization or charring. What is occurring? It is ablation. So at 100 degrees Celsius, what effect you see is ablation. Next, beyond 100 degrees. Okay, meaning if I continue to point my laser light onto the surface for a very long period of time and if the temperature goes beyond 100, the tissue is dehydrated. Okay, at 100 degrees Celsius, my water was already vaporized. If I continue giving it that much amount of heat, my tissue finally dehydrates and then it is burnt. Okay, resulting in undesirable effect known as carbonization. my tissue gets charred, there is charring which is occurring. Okay, so this is another terminology which you need to remember, charring of tissues. It happens when my laser lights point onto the tissue and the temperature reaches beyond 100 degrees Celsius. The water was already lost at 100 degree. Beyond that, it will get dehydrated. There will be burning of tissues. And this procedure is known as carbonization. Okay, so carbonization, ablation, denaturation, all these terminology should be very much clear to you, but because it can be asked in your exam easily. Okay, so we will highlight this and write down important, because it is not only important for NEET MTS aspirants but for ortho residents as well. Maybe you people use lasers in, in general, soft tissue lasers while doing the procedures. So you should know how to use a laser. If you point the laser light at a particular angle, at a particular surface for very long, you are going to have undesirable side effects. And those undesirable side effects can either be ablation or carbonization. So you should be trained in lasers before touching the laser. Okay. So yes, students, please remember this: 60 to 100, 100 and beyond 100. Right. Moving on. Lasers are used in orthodontics. Lasers have found their way in dentistry and they are used at multiple places, but we'll be focusing basically solely on lasers in ortho. So the first place where lasers are used in orthodontics is for laser etching. See what happens when we want to bond a bracket onto the tooth surface. The area has to be etched well. Only if this area is etched well, my bracket will stay there properly. So we have etchants coming. Okay. Now obviously the typical procedure of applying an etchant, waiting for some time, washing it, applying the primer is a time consuming task. So we have laser lights wherein we point the laser onto the enamel and it gets etched. Simple, sweet and no time consuming. So there it is used. Next, it is used in bonding. Yes. Whenever we take a bracket, apply the bonding material at the mesh area and place it onto the tooth surface, we have positioned the bracket as per our need and convenience. Then we have to bond it. That bonding is done with the help of this laser light as appreciated in the figure. Okay, so with the help of this laser light, we bond the bracket. Next, it can also be used for debonding of ceramic brackets. See, there is a difference in debonding of metal and ceramic brackets. There are special pliers which are coming for debonding ceramic brackets, but debonding ceramic is not easy. There are very high chances of fracture. Okay, the bracket can break very easily. Okay, and if the bracket breaks in between, so a part of the ceramic bracket would be stuck onto the tissue. Then we have to remove it with the air rotor. So it becomes a little, task. So therefore we have lasers which have come up. All we need to do is point the laser light at the mesh area and my bracket gets debonded. Okay, so you see my lasers are used right from etching, bonding to debonding, right? And there are few more uses, that is, this is known as LLLT, that is low level laser therapy. It is used in reducing orthodontic post-adjustment pain. See, whenever the patient visits us, monthly visit, okay, we change the wire, we tighten the screws, or like whatever needs to be done is done. Okay, so there is pain. After each adjustment visit, the patient experiences some amount of pain. So in order to reduce that pain, there have been studies which prove, which are claiming that low level laser therapy can be done, where we point laser onto the patient's tissue surface to reduce the pain. So it has found its way here also. Okay, if I start going in depth of each and everything, it will take a very long time and it's not really required at this particular level of entrance examination. Okay, so we'll be covering everything in a superficial manner. Next effect of laser in orthodontics is in accelerated tooth movement. See students, I'm sure you people know that orthodontic treatment lasts for 1.5 to 2 years, and sometimes the patient is not comfortable for wearing braces for so long, right? So there is always this thing which has coming up known as the concept of Wilcodontics or accelerated tooth movement, where different procedures come like osteotomies and corticotomies, which are used to reduce the treatment duration. So one such study claimed that low level laser can be used to accelerate tooth movement. Okay, So this device come where the patient can wear this particular device, and then there would be tooth movement, but this is purely based on vibrations. But yes, even laser has been told to accelerate tooth movement. Next, it is used in micro welding. See, if you people have gone through my previous videos, you know what is soldering, what is welding, the role of welding in orthodontics. And welding is a tedious task. And if by chance any appliance breaks in the mouth, it has to be retrieved, welded outside and put back, which is very time consuming for the orthodontist plus a little frustrating for patients. So now we have intraoral welders which are coming up. Okay, so they are based on the concept of lasers, but they are intraoral welders. They can be used for construction and placement of retentive devices and for intraoral welding of space maintainers. Meaning the things which we used to do it outside can directly be done in the patient's mouth. So can you, you can imagine what revolutionary things are occurring, and evolution is taking place constantly and newer advances are coming up. Okay, then it is also used for 3D laser scanning. That is, it can detect objects' length, width and depth. Laser scanning is one thing which you all must be knowing because it is used at different parts of dentistry. It has found its way in orthodontics as well. So yes, these are the uses of lasers in ortho, where it can be used for etching the tooth surface. It is used for bonding the bracket. It is used for debonding ceramic brackets. It is used to reduce the pain in patients, to accelerate the tooth movement, intraoral micro welding and 3D laser scanning. Okay, so I hope now you know a little bit about lasers. Maybe lasers was one thing which you people were blank about, but now you know a little bit about it, right from its full form to various type of lasers which are there in dentistry, to the point where which laser is used where, effect of lasers onto the tissue and where they are used in orthodontics. Okay, so now this is a little image based question for you people where you have to guess which procedure is being done. Let me tell you, all the procedures done here are by using lasers. So if you can appreciate here what has been done. See, gingivectomy has been done to increase the length of the crown. Do you see this length? It is suppose 7 millimeters, and in this image if you see it is close to 10 millimeters. Okay, so because of orthodontic treatment the patient couldn't maintain the oral hygiene properly, leading to gingivitis, swelling of my gums, and do you see this ballooning of the tissues occurring? So all these things delay my orthodontic treatment. Okay, the tooth movement which is expected to take place maybe in 3 months now will occur after 6 months because of these ballooning of tissues, poor oral hygiene and my periodontium not supporting me. Okay, so the procedure which has been done here is gingival recontouring, gingivectomy to increase the length of the crown. Next, what difference do you see? You see that these pigments have been gone. Okay, so with the help of lasers, even these aesthetic procedures can be carried out, and the name of this procedure is your depigmentation, where the pigment has been removed with the help of lasers to improve the aesthetic value of patient. Okay, so these are few more uses of lasers which are used in orthodontics but not in all the patients, but they are used very commonly in dentistry in general. Next, see, before my canine was not visible, with the help of laser recontouring was done where a portion of gingiva was removed from here. As a result, my crown portion became visible. Because my crown portion became visible, I had space to bond an orthodontic bracket. So my orthodontic bracket could be placed here. Because of placement of bracket, I can pull the teeth out and back into the arch. Okay, so this was a partially impacted tooth which has been brought into arch by laser recontouring, thereby allowing and giving me space to put up my bracket. Okay, so yes, this was all about lasers for you people, students. You Full form of laser, very important. Next, type of lasers. We saw what are the different 5 type of lasers. Most commonly used lasers are these two. Moving on, what we saw this mnemonic star, which is the effect of laser on the tissues. And once my laser gets absorbed, there are these 3 things occurring. Okay, so these are the what do you say, slots. 6200 at 100 degree, more than 100 degree. Okay, so these are the slots, and what are the effect which occurs after absorption. The next thing which we saw was purely the use of lasers in orthodontics, where all these uses were we saw, and these were few additional uses which are there in orthodontics to improve the aesthetic quotient of the patient. Okay, so they are used in aesthetic dentistry as well. So this was your gingival recontouring and crown lengthening. This was your depigmentation. This was laser recontouring to, expose partial impacted tooth into the oral arch so that the tooth can be brought into the maxillary arch. So yes, this is all about lasers. This was purely an introduction of lasers for all those students who have not read about lasers. Yes, these are the things which you should be very much thorough with. Okay, based on these things, you should be able to attempt your MCQ question. Let me bring it and highlight again that if you are an ortho resident watching this video, this is just very basic for you people. Go back to your Graybers and grab the book and read lasers from there. Okay, again, same thing. If you have any doubt, write down in the comment section below. Like, share and subscribe my channel so that it can cater to more number of people out there. In case you have not subscribed to it yet, do subscribe to my channel so that you get notified whenever I'm uploading a video. Plus, look forward to many more good videos coming up and all the video lectures out there. Okay, so I hope you all have attempted the MCQ question. There is test series lined up for you people and very, very interesting topics coming up more. Stay tuned, stay safe. Thank you.